Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Yamamoto with Como News.
And I'm Sarah Baker, National Vice President of Public Affairs of the Japanese American Citizens League.
And we are co-hosts tonight for the virtual Tomodachi Gala, benefiting the Japanese Cultural and Community Center of Washington. And of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we can't get together in person, but we definitely can get together virtually and celebrate a fabulous year for the J.
We'll see what's been happening at the Cultural Center, celebrate our community members, and do what we can to support the J.
But first, a huge welcome to our co-chairs, Tomoko Matsuno and Lori Matsukawa.
Hi, I'm Tomoko Matsuno, one of the co-chairs for the Tomodachi Gala this year.
And I'm Lori Matsukawa. Thanks for joining us. Tomoko, why is the J so important to you?
It's important to support the J for me anyhow because it's a community center and I went to Japanese school there for 6 years every Saturday, walking 9 blocks each way and learning some good Japanese. It was not only Japanese school, it was social. And it was a place that you knew what you were learning, your heritage. And I think that's important. For the same reasons that I say it's just an important place to gather, it's an important place to keep the history of the community alive, and it's open to everyone. Lori, so why do you support the J?
I support the J because I believe in friendship across the ocean. I believe Japanese and Japanese Americans and all Americans really love to share Japanese culture. I think my dream is to have everyone who comes to the center walk away with a friend, Tomodachi, so that every Japanese student who comes there will be able to walk away and say, I have a friend in America. And every American who goes to the J will say, I have a friend in Japan.
That's great, Lori.
Thanks, Tomoko, and so glad that all of you could join us.
Thank you for supporting the J.
Thank you, Tomoko, and thank you, Lori. If you're just joining us, welcome once again to our virtual Tomodachi Gala to benefit the Japanese Cultural and Community Center of Washington. You can donate anytime during this virtual gala. You can go to jccccw.org/Tomodachi-Gala, or you can text JCCCW to 206-208-8281. In the meantime, satellites have always enjoyed Japanese taiko music for a very long time, so here are 3 taiko groups that are connected to the Cultural Center.
Wow, that was fun to watch. We want to thank our sponsors who stepped up earlier this year to support the Cultural Center. They kicked off our fundraising effort and we appreciate it. Our Matsu level sponsors: Bellevue Children's Academy, Costco Wholesale, Doug's Linwood Mazda, Itoen Distant Lands Coffee, Sachi and Jeff Nita, and Uwajimaya. Also, our Bamboo level sponsors: Budokan Judo Dojo, Davis Wright Tremaine, Frank and Penny Fukui of the Woodburn Company, Como TV, and Union Bank. We wish to thank Consul General Yamada for his continued support of the JCCCW. He's leaving Seattle for a new assignment, and we sure will miss him. He comes to you now with a special video.
Good afternoon. I am Yoichiro Jiro Yamada. Consul General of Japan, or until recently I was. I departed from Seattle on August 6th with my family after ending my tour of duty, and we are actually in quarantine in Tokyo right now. The strongest impression that I have of the past 3 years, and the most important lessons that I learned, come from the Japanese American community. I cannot emphasize enough how much I learned as a person from them and their history. Their perseverance, hard work, sacrifice, and contribution to America and exemplary citizenship are what restored dignity and trust to the word Japanese in America, despite bitter history and a tragic war. Japanese Americans have made an enormous impact in cultural, spiritual, economic, and civil rights aspects in Washington State. Thank you again. Long live Jay. Goodbye for now.
My name is Koichi Kitazumi. I'm currently a board member on the JCCCW, and I am the chair for the Seattle Japanese Language School Committee. The idea that we are able to keep this school running after 100 years. So many people always pass, whenever I make a post on Facebook or I see them in the street, they'll tell me, I went to that Japanese school, and thanks for keeping it going. It is a place where Japanese culture and tradition is transferred to the next generation. Obviously, it's a place where we can learn language. And thirdly, it just needs to be a place where it's fun. Much like public schools, which had to go from a physical class to an online class, we did the same over Zoom. I'm so proud of our staff to take on the job of trying to figure out, number one, how to use Zoom. Number two, how do we set it up in a way that's engaging, and then deliver the lesson. And so all of that came together in less than 2 weeks. Now we have an opportunity to reach beyond Seattle.
So many folks in Seattle remember attending the Seattle Japanese Language School on South Weller Street. And to keep that language school going, you could donate anytime on our website at jcccw.org, Tomodachi-Gala, or text JCCCW at 206-208-8281.
Hi, I'm Frank Fukui,
And I'm Penny Fukui.
and we're longtime supporters of the Cultural Center.
Frank and I like and love the J because, well, for a variety of reasons. But first of all, we have 3 specific reasons that we do this. And their names are Kai, Jackson, and Akemi. Or we do bring them to every event that we go to from the time they were very little. They have attended Tomodachi luncheons and now the dinners. They have raised the paddle for us, Kanohi and Kodomo-no-hi, and actually won prizes for an action figure identification contest. So they're a part of this, and this is a part of them. We wanted them to not only see, but feel the community support that we get from the J. Honestly, nobody can predict the future. So Frank and I hope and pray that this will be available to our grandkids and more long after we are gone.
Well, thanks, Penny and Frank. You may have missed visiting the popular Hoseki Bako resale shop. Well, don't despair, because here's Aiko Mizumori Canfield to tell you more.
Thanks, Ryan. One of the hats that I wear here at the J is that of Hoseki Bako store manager. For me, Hoseki Bako is not just another thrift store, but a place for my mom and I to spend time together while supporting an organization that we believe in. As new items rotate through, she and I find things that evoke stories of her childhood and our family. The store is mostly volunteer run by people like my mom and Julia.
Hi, my name is Julia Harrison, and I've been a volunteer here at Hoseki Bako for a number of years now, but I've been a customer for as long as I can remember. This is one of my favorite places to come shopping, and if you are a friend or a family member of mine, chances are that you've gotten a gift from here at some point in the last couple of years, because this is where I do almost all of my gift buying. One of the things that's really exciting about working here is helping to support the programs of the J, but also to do something that helps these objects to stay a part of people's lives and to keep Japanese culture very much a part of everyday life in Seattle.
In April, we made the jump to an online Hoseki Bako store, including curbside pickup twice a week. As Julia said, all proceeds from Hoseki Bako go back into the J, supporting all of our various programs and cultural events. So be sure to check us out online.
As you can see, there's a lot happening at the J. To tell you more, here's Executive Director Karen Yoshitomi.
Hi, I'm Karen Yoshitomi. I lead a small but dedicated and talented staff here at the J. Working together during these challenging times, we've been able to reprogram, reimagine, and renovate. The Breezeway project began in earnest in 2016. It included the installation of an elevator and renovation of the second floor breezeway that connects the two main buildings. Amazingly, the elevator shaft fit perfectly in the space between the two main buildings. And the second floor breezeway went from this to this. Thanks to the financial support from public and private funds and through individual support, this project is complete. But there's still a lot more that needs to be done. If you'd like to learn more about the J, check out our virtual tour. It's becoming the most popular feature of our website. But right now, I'm asking you to please consider donating. Just text the number on your screen below to donate. Thank you.
We're so happy you joined us today. We'd like to take a moment to thank our table captains and guests who signed up and donated early on. They've kicked off our fundraising. Thank you. In January, the Cultural Center supported Seijin Shiki, a coming-of-age celebration for young adults. Here's their video telling you more.
Seijin no Hi, the coming-of-age day that we know today, originally started in 1946 in Saitama Prefecture as a youth festival. This festival was initiated during post-war turmoil with the hope of encouraging young adults to become the next wave of leaders and revitalize the nation. 2 years later, in 1948, the Japanese government set January 15th as a national holiday, and Seijin no Hi, the coming-of-age day, became official. Many of the young women dress in a gorgeous kimono called a furisode, and young men wear a haori and hakama, the traditional men's kimono for the Seijin Shiki, the coming-of-age ceremony.
It will be a great tradition, not just for the Japanese, but for Japanese American or anybody who have affinity for Japan, to know the tradition, and also the community to welcome every young adults into the society. I thought this was a great Japanese tradition to be known in America. Young adults were kind of in tears, came over to me like, oh, thank you so much for doing this.
I'm Denise Moriguchi, President and CEO of Wajimaya. And as a business person, even though Wajimaya and the J are different in many ways, at the end of the day, they both share the common goal of honoring and celebrating and sharing Japanese culture and traditions. And so since we're so aligned in that goal, it's why Wajimaya supports the J. As a mom, having the J is so important because it helps to preserve Japanese culture, and I get to share it with my kids. So they love all the games. They love the water balloon game. They love all the crafts and coloring, and they love watching the performances. The taiko outside, they just sit there mesmerized listening to the taiko every year. We usually try to watch some of the dancing and the judo, and of course they love the snacks there too.
Hello, I'm Calvin Torada representing Budokan Dojo. We've been teaching judo for over 50 years and have been at the J for the last 34. For me, judo is my family sport. I have a long martial arts lineage from my grandfather to my children to many of my extended family. Working and practicing in the dojo, the J provides us with this opportunity, which allows us to teach and pass down the spirit of Budo, like judo, karate, and many of the other martial arts.
Well, thank you, Calvin. If you want to continue to support a home for martial arts, you can go to our website or you can text. Well, the Northwest Nikkei Museum at the J is dedicated to preserving the history and legacy of the Pacific Northwest Nikkei community. To provide more information and details is our collection manager. Here's M.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm M. Holiday Patachek Choi, the collection specialist here at the Northwest Nikkei Museum. We preserve and exhibit objects, photographs, and more of our local Nikkei. With collections that span over 100 years and feature items from the Hunt Hotel, Old Nihon Machi, and over 2,000 vinyl records from 1905 to 1950, our museum helps keep the memory of the greater Seattle Japanese and Japanese American community alive. One of our popular exhibits profiled Genji Mihara, an Issei pioneer and Japanese community leader. Here's a quick look at Genji's life, courtesy of the Seattle Channel.
罪もなし、無料列車に窓もなし。百も経つ、出雲をいでて50年、レニアの雲に湧く我の胸。
Genji was very much on the side of being American. Even when he felt lost, his pride of being an American immigrant and making his life in America was what guided him.
And you know, there's a lot to learn from our past, and one of the major programs at the Cultural Center is a writing group called Omoide, which literally means memories. And some of the participants have actually gone on to become published authors.
We inspire each other, and we just talk and tell stories, you know, like you do with friends, and it becomes fun. And then we have refreshments, and it's been going for how many years now? Since 1991. So how many years is that? 30 years? Well, it's up to us, and part of, I feel, my responsibility to let people know about our stories, and particularly because we have some unique experiences before, during, and after World War II where we were in prison. And so we've done a video about that and several stories and books.
The Army ordered the exclusion of all persons of Japanese ancestry from coastal areas of California, Oregon, Washington, and southern Arizona, and encouraged the people concerned to locate some.
If hills had voices, First Hill on 12th Avenue and Main Street in Seattle would still be whispering its unique history.
What seemed like an adventure was not at all like I thought it would be. It was a time of sadness and uncertainty.
Child of the camps, lined for meals in the mess hall, ate Vienna sausages, canned meats, and beans.
I was 6 when we went to Puyallup Assembly Center. It was big enough so we could climb around. I was scared of heights, but I just followed the older boys. We had to hide because we knew we shouldn't be in there.
You ever wondered what happened to the Japanese American people after they left the concentration camps after World War II? Where did they live? Where did they go? How did they survive?
It is important because we are doing the written history of our Japanese American heritage. And it's lots of fun for me because we have now in the Moire group Sanseis and Yonseis contributing their stories, and that will be go into books that we will produce for Omoide.
The Cultural Center believes in healthy, engaged seniors, so we are proud to have the Nikkei Horizons program under our roof. To tell you more, here's Gordon.
Hi, I'm Gordon Sada. Nikkei Horizon Programs offers fun and fellowship for about 150 to 200 active seniors. Some of the programs include Japanese painting, wood carving, and performing the ukulele. I participate in 3 activities. In the Hanafuda game, I remember in high school when I went to Japan, I bought a set of Hanafuda cards. I bought a book for it, but I never played it because I never could find out anyone to play with. So in my retirement age, I could figure out how to play Hanafuda. As co-coordinator for pickleball, I enjoy this fast-growing sport. I love it because all can and do play together. When I started, I was 63 years old. Sunki Oe was 93, and my son was 33, a span of 60 years. I'm one of the younger people in pickleball, and the majority of the people are 10 or 20 years older than I am, and they're very active and very healthy, and that's what they seek out, and that's the type of lifestyle which I want to be able to emulate to be able to get 20, 30 years more out of life.
You know, earlier this year we held a spring appeal and participated in Give Big, and many of our friends did just that. They gave big to keep the J going. We want to say thank you and also say that you can give big too by donating to our website or texting us.
So for me, it's about the community that it brings together. Once my grandma passes, I won't have as much of a connection to my Japanese heritage. And so being able to have a place where I can meet other Nikkei people who are like me is really, really important and kind of critical to my identity as a young person. And thinking about, you know, if I have children someday, how am I going to bring that connection back to them? You know, I love going to the different events that happen at the J during the course of the year, but it's mostly just about the people that come here and those connections that I'm going to keep for the rest of my life.
Each year, the J recognizes an organization and individual whose work over time helps create and fosters positive relationships between the United States and Japan. Here are this year's honorees.
The corporate award is presented to Costco Japan. The selection committee was particularly impressed with Costco's disaster response following the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, raising more than $5.3 million for the American Red Cross. The company continues to work with its suppliers and associates in Japan to support regional recovery and growth. The company has 26 stores in Japan, creating a strong economic relationship between Japan and Washington State. The individual award is presented to Christopher Helm, an attorney at Davis Wright Tremaine. His specialty is business immigration law with a focus on clients from Canada and Asia, particularly Japan. He has been active in community organizations such as the Japan American Society of the State of Washington, playing a major role in the recent Grassroots Summit, a people-to-people homestay experience. He also provides pro bono services to women survivors of domestic violence and other crimes to help them secure green cards and visas. In 2018, Helm received the Davis Wright Tremaine Willard J. Wright Award for outstanding public service and commitment to the community.
Earlier this year, I got the thrill of pounding mochi the traditional way here at the Cultural Center, and my wife and I, Suzanne Fawn, learned a lot from a very trusting Mr. Yoshinaga. So have you ever tried the pounding of the mochi?
No, I haven't.
Have you tasted it?
Mochi's my favorite.
It's always the best because it's handmade, and sometimes you get little wood chips in there, so it's a little more tasty. It has that woodiness to it.
You get that fiber.
Yeah, I have fiber.
That about wraps it up for our 2020 virtual Tomodachi Gala. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors and our virtual table captains.
And remember, you can always donate by going to our website or texting us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you then.